When a well-known TV personality stepped into the role of the wife of the world's richest man, the headlines weren't just about romance. They were about reinvention. What sparked this transformation? And why does it carry a jaw-dropping price tag close to $500,000? Lauren Sanchez isn't simply Jeff Bezos' partner. Long before that, she built her own name as a respected television host and even a licensed helicopter pilot. But despite her career, the loudest conversations today don't center on her achievements. They center on the striking evolution of her looks across the past 2 decades. Her makeover has been dissected endlessly by the press and public, especially once she entered Bezos' orbit. Side-by-side photos over the years reveal what plastic surgery specialists believe to be a long series of procedures, with an estimated total running up to $390,000. That figure isn't random. It represents the steep price celebrities pay for the illusion of timeless perfection. In her younger years, Lauren already had what surgeons often call an ideal foundation. She possessed natural beauty that needed only subtle refinement, not drastic alterations. Her thick, healthy hair, both on her head and brows, gave her a rare genetic edge. Full brows under a clean arch framed her face with a naturally youthful energy. Add to that a strong midface and a sharp jawline, and her features were already striking. Yet, even in those early years, experts point to subtle signs of intervention. Looking closely at her oldest photos compared to later ones, her nose tells a story of change. The tip, once fuller with a broader bridge, gradually appeared slimmer with a narrower bridge and refined tip, hallmarks of an early rhinoplasty. It's worth noting, women's noses mature faster than men's, and some undergo rhinoplasty as young as 14 or 15. But that raises an important warning. Many patients who choose nose jobs too early often regret it later, once their features fully settle. If they'd waited, surgery may not have been necessary at all. It's a reminder that cosmetic enhancement requires timing as much as skill. By 2002, at age 33, Lauren's transformation became impossible to overlook. She began showing signs of Botox, smoothing out her forehead, frown lines, and even crow's feet. Another interesting clue: her hairline. A pronounced widow's peak emerged at the center, while her left side receded slightly faster than the right, creating a subtle asymmetry she cleverly masked with hairstyles. Of course, facial asymmetry is common. We all have it. But professionals notice everything, and in Lauren's case, the most dramatic shifts were seen in her brows and cheeks. Suddenly, her brows sat noticeably higher than in earlier years, suggesting more than just Botox. Experts suspect a surgical brow lift, a move that instantly re-energizes the face. Meanwhile, her cheeks became more defined, projecting outward in a way her natural bone structure alone couldn't explain. The timing suggests cheek implants may have been added to amplify her already full mid-face, and then came her lips, where subtle but clear changes began to emerge. Fullness began appearing along the outer edges of her lips, especially at the corners. Experts suggest this could have come from hyaluronic acid-based fillers, or possibly silicone injections. At that time, silicone microdrops were still commonly used to create longer-lasting volume. A distinctive detail remained, though. The middle of her upper lip stayed slimmer than the edges, giving her lips a unique, recognizable silhouette. By 2003, when Lauren was 34, another detail surfaced. Her gums became visible whenever she smiled. This seemingly small feature matters a lot in cosmetic planning. Why? Because if a patient later opts for a lip lift, gum exposure usually becomes even more prominent. Surgeons often caution clients about this very effect. Then came 2004, a year of bold changes. Her jawline suddenly appeared wider at the angles, what specialists call the gonial angles. This suggests the possible placement of jaw implants, which added structure and balance but also made her face appear boxier. Combined with her already enhanced cheeks, the new jawline carved out a much sharper and more dramatic facial contour. Her lips also continued evolving. The lateral fullness became even more pronounced, though asymmetry showed up, the right side appearing plumper than the left. This is a classic outcome with fillers, since even highly skilled injectors can rarely achieve perfect symmetry. Overall, this face marked her transition from minor touch-ups to more transformative procedures. Her look shifted from soft and youthful toward something sharper, sculpted, and almost architectural in its precision. Between 2005 and 2009, however, things seemed to quiet down. No major changes were visible, suggesting Lauren may have been content with the results and allowed her face to stabilize after multiple interventions. But 2010 brought the next wave. At 41, her smile revealed something new. Her upper teeth, both central and lateral incisors, were visible even when her lips rested slightly apart. This could have been the natural result of aging, or another round of lip work. What truly stood out, though, was a hollowing beneath her medial cheekbones. This kind of indentation is a telltale sign of buccal fat removal, a procedure where fat pads inside the cheeks are extracted to create a sharper, more contoured face. Although buccal fat removal didn't explode in popularity until 2022-2023, it was already available a decade earlier for patients seeking that sculpted model look. Of course, some might argue weight loss alone could cause this effect, but given the specific location of the hollowing, plastic surgeons point to surgical intervention as the more likely explanation. By 2011, her lips had taken on what would become her signature feature. At 42, a distinct central gap appeared in her upper lip, where the outer parts touched the lower lip first, leaving the middle thinner and exposing her front teeth more. This look splits opinions. On one hand, many consider it alluring and sensual, adding expressiveness to the face. On the other, some view it as too artificial and choose corrective procedures. Options include dissolving the filler along the sides or even surgical lip reduction, where excess tissue from the lateral lip is removed. From 2012 to 2014, Lauren entered a more stable phase. No major changes were apparent, giving her earlier work time to settle into a balanced, harmonious look. By 2016, at 47, one of Lauren's most striking features wasn't her facial structure. It was her skin. Smooth, glowing, and virtually flawless, her complexion reflected not only good genetics but also years of top-tier treatments, luxury products, and professional care. From 2017 through 2020, her look remained relatively steady. But in 2021, at 52, the biggest transformations of her entire journey emerged. Her cheeks suddenly looked more defined, pointing to a possible cheek implant revision. This is no simple tweak. It involves removing earlier implants through incisions inside the mouth and replacing them with larger or reshaped ones. Surgeons often recommend this as the face naturally changes with age, requiring stronger support to maintain the same youthful contour. Even more jaw-dropping was her jawline. At an age where most women show at least slight sagging, Lauren's jaw remained razor-sharp. Such definition at 52 almost certainly suggests a facelift. This major surgery lifts and tightens the skin of both the lower and mid-face. Subtle clues appeared around the area in front of her earlobes, the classic site for facelift incisions. Though the work was exceptionally discreet, seasoned surgeons would still recognize the telltale signs of skin repositioning. Her brows, too, appeared more elevated, suggesting she combined the facelift with a brow lift. That's logical. Facelifts target the mid to lower face, while brow lifts rejuvenate the upper half. Alongside that, the heaviness in her eyelids noticeably decreased, hinting at upper blepharoplasty, a surgery to remove excess eyelid skin. Plastic surgeons typically plan these in sequence, starting with the brow lift since it determines how much eyelid skin actually needs removal. By 2022, at 53, Lauren's lips drew renewed attention. additional filler was likely layered over her previous work, creating slight asymmetry. The right side of her upper lip rose higher than the left, a common outcome with hyaluronic acid fillers, which can migrate even under the hands of top injectors. In some cases, filler even drifts past the natural lip line, leaving an overfilled impression. A reminder that even the most advanced techniques carry risks. From 2023 into 2024, Lauren's look stabilized again, giving her features time to settle into their final form. To fully grasp her transformation, let's break down the key procedures and their impact. Early rhinoplasty. Lauren's nose job was subtle yet precise, reshaping the tip and narrowing the bridge. These fine adjustments harmonized her features while preserving her natural look. A well-done rhinoplasty like this requires exceptional precision, so the results age gracefully. Cheek implants and revision. Likely placed in 2002, then revised nearly 20 years later in 2021, her cheek implants, made from medical-grade silicone, gave her that sculpted high cheekbone appearance. The revision ensured her contour kept pace with age-related changes. Recovery usually takes 2 to 3 weeks. Facelift, her most dramatic procedure, probably in 2021, restored definition by tightening both skin and underlying tissues. Discrete incisions along the ears and hairline leave barely their scars. With recovery, spanning 3 to 6 months, it's one of the most demanding but also most effective anti-aging surgeries. Botox and neurotoxin. Use starting in her early 30s. Lauren used Botox preventively to soften wrinkles, elevate brows, and maintain a naturally fresh smile. Over 2 decades, experts estimate she's spent $50,000, $80,000 just on injectables, an investment in keeping her image camera-ready. Lip evolution. From early silicone microdrops to later hyaluronic fillers, her lips evolved into one of her signature features, the central gap effect. Done well, it's sensual and expressive, but it requires an expert injector to avoid that overfilled look. Professional skin care. Beyond surgery, her skin's glassy smoothness is the result of relentless maintenance. Chemical peels, microneedling, laser resurfacing, and luxury-grade skincare. Over 20 years, she's likely spent over $100,000 just on skin upkeep. But transformations like this aren't only physical. They carry deep psychological weight. Unlike sudden overhauls, Lauren's gradual approach allowed her to adapt slowly, integrating her new image into her identity. And timing is telling. Her most dramatic changes happened in 2021, right as her relationship with Jeff Bezos went fully public. Coincidence? Or was it a deliberate step to match her new status in the spotlight? As the partner of one of the wealthiest men alive, Lauren knows every public appearance will be photographed, magnified, and dissected. And in that kind of relentless glare, maintaining a flawless appearance isn't just a personal preference for Lauren. It's a professional necessity. The pressure is especially heavy on women over 50 who often face society's tendency to make them invisible. Lauren proves, through her transformation, that age doesn't have to mean fading into the background. But that proof comes at a steep cost, not only in money, but in time, constant effort, and the risks that always accompany cosmetic work. Every surgical procedure carries dangers: infections, scarring, asymmetry, or disappointing results. Implants can shift or deform. Revisions, like her cheek implant replacement, are particularly tricky since each additional surgery introduces more scar tissue and higher complication risks. Even non-surgical tweaks have long-term uncertainties. Silicone lip injections can migrate or trigger inflammation years later, and buccal fat removal, popular now, may actually accelerate the look of aging later in life. There's also the psychological trap known as plastic surgery addiction, where someone never feels finished and constantly searches for flaws to correct. Lauren's 2-decade-long evolution hints at this tendency, though her results remain remarkably balanced compared to many others. From a financial perspective, Lauren's transformation can be seen as an investment, one that paid dividends. Looking decades younger has kept her media career alive in an industry notorious for pushing women out once they hit middle age. At 55, she remains glamorous, relevant, and marketable. And on a personal level, her magnetic appearance undoubtedly played a role in her relationship with Jeff Bezos. While love itself can't be bought, attractiveness and charisma often shape opportunities, both romantic and professional. Today, as the wife of the world's third richest man, Lauren enjoys resources and influence far beyond most people's reach. Her beauty, amplified by surgical precision, has helped open doors to elite social circles, philanthropic ventures, and global cultural relevance. But there's a social cost. Lauren has become a living symbol of unattainable beauty standards, fueling unrealistic expectations for ordinary women. For some, her example inspires, but for others, it may lead to financial strain or risky attempts at imitation. At 55, Lauren is now entering a maintenance phase. The most radical transformations are behind her. Going forward, she'll likely focus on consistent Botox and filler use, advanced skin treatments, and occasional minor surgical corrections. Experts estimate her yearly upkeep could run $50,000 to $100,000. And with the beauty industry constantly evolving, she may be among the first to try next-generation options. New fillers, laser innovations, regenerative stem cell therapies, even early forms of gene-based anti-aging medicine. But even with unlimited wealth, there's one truth that can't be escaped. Aging is inevitable. Hormonal shifts, skin elasticity loss, and body changes will continue. And Lauren will face the same biological battles as any other woman. The difference is, she's fighting with every tool that modern medicine and fortune can provide. Of course, maintaining such a transformation comes with a staggering price tag. Over 2 decades, the estimated total of Lauren's cosmetic journey reaches around $390,000. Here's the breakdown. Rhinoplasty, $8,000 to $12,000. Cheek implants with later revision, $15,000 to $25,000. Brow lift, $8,000 to $15,000. Buccal fat removal, $5,000 to $8,000. Jaw implants, $15,000 to $20,000. Facelift, $25,000 to $40,000. Upper blepharoplasty, $5,000 to $8,000. Botox sessions over the years, $50,000 to $80,000. Lip fillers, $30,000 to $50,000. And professional skincare treatments, another $20,000 to $40,000. But what really stands out isn't just the number. Lauren's success story lies in the strategy. She didn't gamble on one radical makeover. She embraced a step-by-step evolution executed by the best surgeons in the most elite clinics. This slow build gave her a result that feels natural, despite the sheer scale of interventions. And while the surgeries reshaped her face, they also paralleled her rise in status. From local TV presenter to the wife of one of the world's wealthiest men, that $390,000 represents far more than medical bills. It's the price of confidence, of social acceptance, and of being able to stand alongside the most powerful figures on the planet. In return, the investment paid off 100-fold. Lauren didn't just preserve her beauty, she leveraged it into influence, visibility, and cultural relevance. Her transformation is a blueprint, a careful blend of natural genetics, top-tier cosmetic artistry, and relentless determination to perfect her image. Yes, the figure $390,000 is jaw-dropping, but the true cost goes deeper. The time, the risks, the emotional toll, and the never-ending pressure of perfection under the world's spotlight.